We're gonna get started in a second here. All right. Welcome to church. Talking boxing, same as every Sunday, 10 p.m., live on IG, replays available on IGTV and Facebook. If it's your first time watching, the rules are simple. If you're watching this, the price of admission is to share the thing, so either hit the arrow and put it in your stories, or on Facebook, hit share. If you got questions, comments, don't be shy. Even if it's at a later date, I will reply. As far as needing links, send me a DM. I'll see what I can do to help you out. The show's the same every week. We look at last week's fights, we look at next week's fights, and we talk a little bit about the news. So without any further to-do, let me get started. Alright. Before I get to the big one. Last Thursday, Ring City in Puerto Rico. They're doing their series in Puerto Rico now. It's important to us because hopefully Christian Billy is going to fight on one of their shows. Long story short, we had an event last Thursday. It was a so-so event. The main fight I want to talk to you guys about was the main event. Insane main event. And, you know, it's one of the reasons why I love boxing so much is the story I'm going to explain to you right now. Because if you didn't watch the fight, you missed out on something. Hold on, let me just change the music. Too loud. Alright, let me turn that down. Too low. Alright. Sorry about that. So, let me explain this fight to you. Listen how sick this is. So, Barakas 18-0 with 18 KOs. Brandon Adams 22-3. 3 respectable losses. Willie Monroe in his prime, one of the Charlos. Nonetheless, Brandon Adams, bad motherfucker in his own right, always ready. Been showing up on the Ring City shows. Last time out was dressed up as King Koopa. This time out dressed up as Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. WBC Continental Super Welterweight title on the line. Never count your chickens, folks. Now, I need you to understand how many fucking layers there are to this, because it's fucking beautiful. So first off, Puerto Rico outdoor event, humid as fuck, and between all the other fights and everything else, the fucking mat is just a soaked sponge, and everyone's been slipping, sliding all night. Now the main event, people are slipping even more. So, Barakas scores a knockdown, but was it really a knockdown? I kind of called it a slip. Adams gets, obviously, a 10-8 round. Then, in another round, Adams gets a point deduction for a punch to the back of the head, which, again, I will claim is because of the slipping, because Barakas was only in that position because he slipped. So now Adams is basically giving up another round, 100%. So there's the 10-8 round, and then the point deduction. It's just not going good for Brandon Adams. You know, the judges are obviously, and even after the fact, scored it against Brandon Adams. Hell of a fucking fight. So, it gets to about the 6th round, and Brandon Adams starts turning it on a little bit. You can see he's looking for his moments, and he's starting to tie him and whatnot. And we get to the 8th round. It's pretty much a lock. It's a 10-rounder. Barakas doing what he's been doing the whole fight. He hasn't been crazy dominant or anything. It's just he's been... he was landing early in those first 6 rounds, like I said. Brandon Adams scores a fucking knockout. A beautiful knockout. And it wasn't like a... If it wasn't for the wet floor, the point deduction, the punch to the back of the head, the fucking knockdown, I wouldn't be saying it's a come from behind win. Because it was a pretty even matchup. But Brandon Adams had everything against him. And he pulled the W. Fucking romantic as hell. That is some fucking beautiful shit. If you missed that fight, I swear you need to do yourself a favor and watch that. Hold on, my light's in the way. Now, so with that, let's move on. Hold on here. Let's close some fucking windows. All right. Friday, Flint, Michigan. History making. Her story making. Claressa Shields. Marie-Eve Dicaire. WBC, IBF, WBO, WBA title on the line. Michael Griffin in the ring. I'll say this. Claressa Shields just has accolade after accolade. Realize this is her 11th fight as a pro, her 12th title. Has 2 gold medals. Basically undefeated except for 1 loss as an amateur. Been boxing as a pro for 5. Altogether 10. Marie-Eve Dicaire was undefeated. Has a really good story and a background too. And she can fucking box. Now, I wasn't too keen on the announcers trying to say her footwork was nervous energy, because I really didn't think so. I really think it was purposely done. It wasn't something she normally does. And I think she was doing it to try and not plant her feet, because she knew if she planted her feet, Claressa was a bit faster and a bit stronger. I mean, technique-wise, she did what she could. And as far as fights against Claressa Shields go, Marie-Eve did as good as anyone's ever done. Went the distance. Took some heavy shots. And Claressa's not known for her knockouts, but fuck, she had to put herself in danger to try and land something. It was fun because she even got a little mean. She was a little aggressive, a little dirty in there. Look, for those saying that the girl's done, they don't know boxing. There's plenty of other girls. I'll make a post about it this week again on my Instagram, but look, we're going to mention a few girls in a second that she could easily fight winners or losers, and Claressa's already talked about vacating the weight division, so all those titles become up for grabs again, and there's basically only 5 other chicks that are, and I say chicks nicely. There's only 5 other women that more or less qualify, and have a record that could fight for the title, either hold the interim title or whatnot. But basically, Marie-Eve, if she wants to, has another, I don't know, say 7 fights ahead of her if she wanted to. She could be a 2-time world champ within that time. Don't write her off. The rest of the event was so-so. Marlene Esparza looked good. Against Shelly Barnett, originally from Canada. Listen, I was happy to pay for it. I hope the pay-per-view numbers come out. Be interesting to see. Find out if it was worth the gamble for. Almost forgot about this one. Friday afternoon from France, we had an event with Tony Yoka versus Joaiko, and his wife Estelle Mosley versus Verena Kaiser. His wife won a unanimous decision. Tony Yoka won by TKO in the last seconds of the 12th round. Dramatic finish, but overall the fight was meh. He's now 10-0 as a pro. He's got a European title. He's sitting there trying to call out Joshua and top 10 fighters. I say, have a rematch with Simo Keane, who beat you in the amateurs. Come over here and have some fun with Adam Braywood. Let's see what you're really made of. If not, if you're really brave, let's give you Arslanbek Makhmudov. I don't mind giving him a Euro title. That being said, it was an okay event, but I'm not keen on Tony Yoka. Saturday, the only event I will mention is Chenard Bunch looked great against Cameron Creel. Cameron Creel 17-17-3, so he was supposed to look great. It was a bit of a comeback fight for him. They're rebuilding Chenard, and I still like him as a boxer. Really interesting young 140-pounder. Kudos to him. As far as next week is concerned, and this again touches us here in Montreal. So Wednesday, from the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, Showbox is back. Showbox, basically a series from Showtime Boxing that highlights and showcases younger boxers. I'm going to take a pause here. We got a comment. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Manny, hope you're doing good. Do you think Arthur Beriev could beat Canelo at light heavyweight? And what's your take on BJS versus Canelo coming up soon? All right, I'm going to answer that before I move on with the weekly schedule. So, I'm doing all right, as good as everyone else is in this bullshit. Do I think Arthur? Yes, I think Arthur Beriev could beat Canelo. You gotta remember, Canelo originally was not a 175-pounder. Beriev, criticize him. Some may, but right now still in his prime. And if it's within the next 2 years, I don't see anyone beating Beriev. What's your take on BGS versus Canelo? I think Canelo beats him. I think Billy Joe maybe gives him his toughest matchup so far, but I'm just hoping the drug tests come clean on those. To be honest, both guys have had issues, and this is pretty much a big fucking fight. So, I mean, if you were, accidentally taking nasal spray or eating Mexican beef before, you might be prone to do it again, or something of the like. Alright, on with the fucking schedule. So, Showbox is doing this small series is to highlight younger fighters. The reason I'm mentioning it is because recently, Batir Jukambayev from Montreal, from Kazakhstan originally, with Eye of the Tiger, has moved his operation over to California, and he's going to be appearing on the Showbox series. I cannot mention yet when. However, the reason I'm mentioning it now is because the main event is going to be super lightweight Brandon Lee, who's 21-0. He's fighting for the IBO Intercontinental title against Samuel Tay. Samuel Tay, 17-3-1. Brandon Lee, I really like this kid. I got my eye on him. It's been a little while, and he's super interesting. Bunch of young undefeated guys on here that I don't know, that I am looking forward to finding out about. There's still a couple fights that are pending approval, but hopefully there'll be a full card. Steven Ortiz at lightweight versus Jeremy Hill. Victor Padilla versus Thomas Velasquez. Misael Lopez versus Jordan White. Brian Norman Jr. versus Benjamin Whittaker. And maybe David Navarro. All undefeated. All super interesting. We got lightweights, super featherweights, welterweights. Gonna be a fun night Wednesday night. Gonna be available on TSN for us here in Canada. Friday afternoon from Lancashire, UK. MTK. Top Rank. ESPN. Cross our fingers. TSN. Lewis Crocker versus Dennis Alsby for the WBO European title. We got lightweight Gary Cully versus Victor. Koto Jigov. Alright, we're gonna go with Victor. So Gary versus Victor, 11-0 versus 12-1. Got welterweight, super featherweight, super middleweights. It's all guys making their debuts or with more or less of a starting out career. Gonna be an interesting afternoon Friday. Next, Friday night from Florida. There's only one reason I mentioned this one, but All Star Boxing. There will be a link for this. Hit me up if you need it. Super middleweight Ali Akhmedov versus Scott Sigmund. Scott Sigmund 35-14-1. Ali Akhmedov 16-1, coming off that loss. So they're obviously trying to rebuild him. Interesting card again. Bunch of guys I don't know, but looking forward to finding out. We got featherweights, super middleweights, welterweights, light flyweights, a little bit of everything. Saturday, Dallas, Texas. This is a big one, guys. Do not miss this. Arthur B. Arslanov. I'm going to say it. This is the earliest I've said it for any boxer, so I don't care, but I'm going to say it. He is the future Canadian boxing. He is going to be a world champion. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal kid. We are lucky to have him. Super lightweight, and despite whatever negative things you can think of for Beterbiev, he lacks all of them. He is all around, just, hits all points. And, it's a clear indication he was one of the lucky ones that got signed directly to Matchroom. Free agent for a little while. They did their shit well. Matchroom knows what they got. They've been putting him, they've been giving him work slowly. I'd like it that they move him a little faster, because time is ticking, and this kid's a talent that the world needs to discover. I've said it about Custio Clayton. I've said it about Eve Ulysses. I'm saying it about Arthur B. Arslanov. Phenomenal boxer. Gonna be Canada's best boxer. Alright, rest of the card. Just a phenomenal card to be a part of. He's so lucky to be there. He's gonna get a front row seat to some beautiful fights. I'm gonna skip a couple, but I'm gonna go to middleweight. Austin Williams versus Dennis Douglin. This is just a last minute replacement. Dennis Douglin, mama's boy. If you don't know him, you gotta support him. The dude's just such a good dude. Overall, hell of a boxer. Don't let the record fool you. 22-7, but those are well-earned and well-learned losses. Hell of a fucking boxer, and nobody you should take lightly. Austin Williams, only 7-0, just starting out, but a young gunner. And Ammo, honestly, versus Mama Boy, it could be a main event on its own, but expect fireworks in that fight. Jessica Mccatskill versus Cecilia Barakas. Exactly what I was talking about with Maria Dicaire before. We already know that Clarissa's talking about vacating, but, she might want to go after another and become 3 times undisputed. But anyway, nonetheless, Jessica Mccatskill, rematch versus Cecilia Barakas. Hell of a fight the last time. Mccatskill was the underdog the last time. She won't be the next time. Barakas is just a hell of a vet. She's got 37 fucking fights. Mccatskill's got only 11. WBO, WBA, IBF, WBO, and for some reason, the IBO title. Also a hell of a fight. Light flyweight Hiroto Kyoguchi versus Axel Vega. Axel Vega 14-3-1. Hiroto is 105 pounds of sewing machine punching power. It is mechanical and fast and fun. I know everyone's not crazy about the lighter weights, but trust me on this guy. Hiroto's definitely fun to watch. Talk about fun to watch. The fucking cherry on the sundae on this one. This is marinated and just perfect. WBC and WBA super flyweight titles. Juan Estrada versus Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. 50-2. And fuck those two. Roman Gonzalez, a bad motherfucker. Bad motherfucker. Bad motherfucker. Gotta say it 3 times. Fuck. Estrada, no slouch in his own right. To be honest, this one's even hard to pick a winner. I want Gonzalez to win because I like him a bit better, but god damn it, it'd be impossible to pick a winner. This is going to be, from beginning to end, joy. This is going to be just joy. Anyone sitting there watching this, no one's going to be talking. No one's even going to be chewing on their chips. Everyone's going to be floating the chip for in between rounds. Crazy fucking fight. Texas that lifted all its restrictions, so we'll see. Hopefully everyone passes their COVID test. I don't even know if they're gonna have to do COVID tests, but okay. Cecilia. Alright, the last thing, Saturday. So the full card's not announced, and Showtime usually does this. I'm gonna get to that in a second, Ace. Um, so Saturday night, Showtime Boxing, gonna be on TSN for us. Benavidez versus Ellis, TGB Promotions again. Al Heyman, Premier Boxing, Showtime. It's a bit of a mixture of everything, but who cares? TGB Promotions has been doing crazy good shows. Few fights canceled out. One fight, dude didn't clear the medicals. The other fight, the guy actually his flight got canceled, and that because of the whole fucking quarantine and whatnot, it fucked him. So right now, as far as I know, there's only 3 fights. 154 pounds, Jamonte Clark versus Terrell Goshaw. 15-1-1, 21-2-1. Both guys are just solid boxers. It's going to be a hell of a fight for both guys. Really hard to pick a winner in that one. Jose Romero versus Isaac Cruz Jr. Isaac is 20-1-1. Jose Romero's 24-0. Just a really hard-hitting punching machine from Argentina. David Benavidez, undefeated, young kid, 23-0, ready to fucking conquer the world, versus Ronald Ellis, 17-1-2. Ellis, no slouch in his own right, but honestly, I think Benavidez is just going to be too fucking big for him. Alright. As far as news, we ain't got too much news. Jessica the Cobra Camara versus Mary Pierre Owl is officially off. Mary Pierre Owl was offered Candy Wyatt, but her fight is definitely not happening. So I don't know what happened with that, but fuck, I was really hoping for that. I will mention there's another girl fighting just around the same time, fighting in April actually, that, you know, maybe would have been available also, but we'll get to it. First up, Tuesday, March 16th from Quebec City. It will be available on RDS, and I'm not entirely sure of the broadcasting yet, but I'm going to get on top of it from here to there. Main event, Oscar Rivas versus Sly Louis. Co-main, Patrice Volney versus Jank Straughter in a rematch. Sebastien Bouchard versus Mario Perez. Mario Perez has basically had most of his fights here. Jan Pellerin versus Marco Perrant. Jan Pellerin also co-promoter of the event with New Era Fighting. Cruiserweight making his second fight, Alexandre Bollet. I'm assuming there's missing a little French accent aigu there. Versus Nick Nacarado. Nacarato's only got a draw on his record, and Boulet's only got 1 win. Heavyweight Alex Barriere making his pro debut versus Colin Sangster, 2-0. And heavyweight Francis Charbonneau, 2-1 versus Alexandre Roberge, who's 1-0. If you think about it, there's 3 heavyweight fights, 2 cruiserweight fights, a super middleweight fight. And Volney's getting, you know, the potential for knockouts is a little higher in this one. So expect. It's good that they got this many fights, because I don't see them going all the distance. Saturday, April 17th, Eye of the Tiger, Quebec City. David Lemire versus Robert Talarek. It's a stay busy fight, but who cares? David Lemire can do what he wants. Co-main, Steve Claggett, Metzer Germain. Just a barn burner of a fight. We'll talk more about it as time approaches, but I say that fight and my mind makes this face. So, heavyweight, Simon Keane versus Stan Cermax. Stan's got 1 loss, Simon's got 1 loss. You know, this is Stan's biggest fight name-wise. Gonna be an interesting fight. 2 undefeated young killers, Artem Argonazayan versus Josh Wagner. Fuck. That's a hell of a fight. That could be a main event on its own. Middleweight, Alexandre Gaumont making his debut versus Mikael Miller. Super Bantamweight, Bree Bam Bam Howling fighting Erica La Negra Hernandez. Bree making her debut as a Tiger, but her 3rd pro fight. Hernandez already has 12 fights under her name, so you know, it's a pretty decent matchup considering it's only Bree's 3rd fight as a boxer. Now she does have a few Muay Thai fights. Super middleweight, Kenny Cherry, the professor, versus Metzer Duguay. Kenny needs a win. He wants to get back on the win column. Metzer Duguay's only got a loss. So both guys are going to be hungry for a win. Got a solid mixture of fights here. A lot of local stuff. Some local matchups that, like, in normal circumstances, these guys would not face each other. But it is what it is. And then, you know, you got David Lemire, Cherry on the Sunday, Bree Howling, and Kenny just to round out the card, and Gaumont Miller. It's a solid little event. Just announced 24th of April, Vancouver. Now, I've been saying it for fucking years. I don't understand why more promoters don't go to Vancouver. It is a hotbed. They got money over there. So, do work. Cruiserweight, Ryan Rodzicki versus Salar Golami. Golami's 4-0, Rodzicki's 12-0. Rodzicki's basically called out the universe looking for a fight, so I'm just happy he's working. Middleweight, Antonio Napolitano, 5-0 versus Cody Hanna, who's 7-5-2. Middleweight, Jacques Daoust, who's 1-0, fighting Stuart Twardzik, who's 1-0. And Carolyn Redmond, who's 3-0, is hopefully going to be fighting someone. She's the girl that I mentioned that maybe Mary Pierre could have fought, but 3-0, same weight class, you know. If shit doesn't fucking stop with this pandemic, there's a very strong chance that they end up fighting each other. Alright. So, Virgil Ortiz, Mighty Mo. Fuck, Mighty Mo, I feel like I've been talking about Maurice Hooker for like 10 years. I feel like I've been saying that kid's gonna fucking take on the world since forever. Virgil Ortiz, I've only been talking about him for the last couple of years. I think that says what I'm thinking, but nonetheless, matchup-wise, it's a hell of a fight. Maurice, you know, you can't count him out. Solid fight. Solid fight. Alright, no other questions? No other comments? Thank you for those of you that actually tuned in and watched the whole fucking thing. As usual, remember, price of admittance was the fucking share. Questions, comments, even if it's at a later date, there will be a replay of this on Facebook and IGTV. I will answer you. If you need a link, send me a DM. And last but not least, same as every week. Guys, just be nice to each other. I'll see you guys next week.